$30 billion. That's how much defense contract shareholders made in a single day after the United States and Israel started bombing Iran. 30 billion. You want to know what happened to you that same week? Well, gas prices jumped about 40 cents a gallon. It's not about whether you support the war. That's not the question. The question is, who's getting rich while we get squeezed? Because I've got the receipts. And here's where we are. It's day 30 of Operation Epic Fury. The United States and Israel have launched strikes on Iran starting on February 28th. And since then, more than 850 Tomahawk missiles have been fired. More than 10,000 targets have been hit. And the Pentagon is burning somewhere between $1 and $2 billion a day. Per day. And now, President Trump has asked Congress for another $200 billion in supplemental funding. $200 billion. And on top of that, he wants a defense budget push to $1.5 trillion by 2027. Now, let me say this clearly. I've spent nearly 23 years in the nuclear industry, and I understand how this all works. And I've been in the military. I understand national security, and I understand the threat that Iran poses. And that isn't what this video is about. This video is about the question that nobody in Washington is asking. Who's benefiting from all of this? Because the answer seems like it's sitting right here in the market, out in the open. The Monday after the strike started, March 2nd, Lockheed Martin, they hit an all-time high in stock prices. Lockheed jumped more than 3% in one day. Then you have Northrop Grumman, they jumped 6%. RTX jumped nearly 5%. And Palantir jumped 6.5%. That's the top defense names. And they added roughly $25 to $30 billion in shareholder wealth in a single trading session. Just one. And let's not pretend these companies were hurting. Lockheed brought in $68 billion last year. RTX pulled $43 billion. And their backlogs are bigger than the GDP of most countries. Now, the part that should make everybody furious is that in January, just weeks before this war started, the president called these people out. He said that they were paying massive dividends, buying back stock, underinvesting in their plants and equipment, and handing executives outrageous compensation packages. That was in January. And by March, those same CEOs were in the White House shaking hands, smiling for cameras, and promising to quadruple production of what Trump called exquisite class weaponry. Quadruple. And then Morgan Stanley told their investors to increase exposure to defense, security, and aerospace because government spending would drive multi-year demand. Think about that. They're not planning for a quick end. They're planning for a long profit cycle. Now, it gets even uglier because this isn't just a contractor story. It's also about Congress. And no, it's not a partisan argument because both sides are involved. Now, capital trades, they track what members of Congress buy and sell. And there's a pattern that stinks. Members sitting on foreign affairs, intelligence, and defense committees, they were buying defense stocks throughout 2025 before the bombing started to fall. Those guys are Mike McCall of House Foreign Affairs, gets classified briefings on Iran. He bought GE Aerospace stock in January, and that position is up more than 82%. He bought Woodward, a defense parts manufacturer. It's up 114%. So the man getting briefed on whether we may be heading towards war just happens to be buying the same stock that surges when the war starts. And before anybody says this is just Republicans, there's Josh Gottenheimer. He's a Democrat, Defense Intelligence Subcommittee. He bought ExxonMobil, Cummins, and other military-linked suppliers weeks before the strikes. Military vehicles, power systems, nuclear-related infrastructure. His trades could be worth up to $105,000 easily. And then there's Mark Wayne Mullen. He bought RTX on December 29th of 2025 and also bought Raytheon, the company making the Tomahawk missiles that were firing at Iran. And 2 months later, he's the Secretary of Homeland Security. And he went from buying war stocks to running a cabinet department. Now, I want to be fair here because nobody has proven insider trading because the House Ethics Committee won't do a damn thing about this. But I still want to be precise. But you tell me, How do the people getting briefings keep landing in the right stocks at the right time? Both Republicans and Democrats. Seems to be the same story, but different jerseys. And Congress might not even be the worst part of it, though, because what happened on Monday, on March 24th, should scare every American who still believes markets are supposed to be fair. Because the weekend before, President Trump threatened to obliterate Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure within 48 hours if they didn't open the Strait of Hormuz. And markets braced for that escalation, and oil prices surged. Everybody expected things were going to get worse. And then Monday morning at 7:05 a.m., Trump posted that he was standing down because of good and productive talks with Iran. And just like that, the markets reversed. Stocks went up, oil went down. But here's the problem. At 6:49 a.m., 16 minutes before Trump posted this on Truth Social, someone placed a massive trade volume on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. S&P 500 futures saw a sudden spike in volume. Oil futures worth $580 million were sold. And whoever made those trades was betting stocks would rise and oil would fall. And that's exactly what happened 16 minutes later. That's a $580 million bet in 16 minutes. And somebody knew what was going on. But it doesn't stop there. Polymarket, they saw $529 million in bets tied to the timing of the strikes in Iran. Bubble Maps found 6 accounts that made $1.2 million by correctly betting the strikes would happen on the 28th of February. And these were brand new accounts. They had no prior trading. They had perfect timing. And the agencies that are supposed to police this, the CFTC, they've been gutted by staffing cuts. The SEC chair had lasted 6 months and left. So nobody's mining the store. So let me bring this back to the part that hits you and I. Gas was $2.81 in January. Now it's pushing $4. Here where I live in Ohio, it's up more than 8%. Brent crude, it's up 51% this month alone. That's the biggest monthly surge in oil market history. It's bigger than the Gulf War. The biggest ever, actually. Trump's approval on prices and inflation just hit a negative 39. Only 28% of us approve how he's handling inflation, and 13% of his own voters say they regret their vote. Now, why does this matter? Because I want to be clear here that this is the consequence. The public may not know the ticker symbols, we may not know the Polymarket bets, but we know something is wrong when it costs more to fill our tanks and feed our family and get to work. We are paying a war tax. That's what this is. Every cent above $3 a gallon is money coming back out of our pockets and flowing towards the people who started this war, who want to profit from it and have no real incentive to end it. Because a war that drags on is more than just a money grab. It's a contractor's heaven. And they don't want this to end. Now, there's been analysts that have been commenting, and one that I kind of took near and dear is that a conflict that ends decisively is less valuable than one that drags on. That's not cynical. It's a business model. So I think here's what's going to happen next, and I hope you watch closely. That $200 billion supplemental request is going to come up for a vote. When it does, you should pay attention to every member of Congress who votes yes. Then go to capitaltrades.com or Benzinga's government trades page and check out what they own. Lockheed, RTX, Northrop Grumman, Palantir, GE Aerospace. Because for some of these people, that vote is not just about our national security. It's about the performance of their portfolio. And that's exactly why the Stock Act is a joke, because disclosure is not enough. The fines that they get are a couple $100, which isn't punishment. It's a parking ticket on a Bugatti. And until members of Congress are banned from trading individual stocks, this is going to keep happening. Every war, every crisis, every policy decision that moves the market, somebody on the inside gets positioned to profit. And you and I, well, we get positioned to pay at the gas pump, wondering why life just got more expensive. It's not left and right. Just look at the names. Republicans and Democrats are buying and selling and profiting and then voting and then keeping the machine fed. So the real question isn't whether you support the war. The real question is whether you support a system where the people sending our kids to fight are the same people cashing in when the missiles fly. I'm Jared Majewski. This is my new channel, Blue Collar and Red Blooded. And if this makes you think that this is bullshit, share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And subscribe, because we're just getting started.